Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of OPP. As you guys can see to our left, we have a legend in the industry joining us today. How you doing, Gene?
I guess a legend means I'm old.
we were just trying to be nice, put it politically correct,
We don't say old, Gene. We say you're a classic.
There you go.
I'm doing very well.
That's awesome. Awesome. Talking about old, yeah, we hear you got a birthday coming up in 2 weeks.
I sure do.
Yeah.
78
years young, like we said before. Well, happy early birthday, and thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, took us a while to hunt you down. You were I guess traveling and a bunch of stuff like that. TJ saw you at SPOA, and he took a selfie with you and said, "Hey, I got this guy. He's in. Line him up for this month." So, yes. TJ, thanks for making it happen.
Oh, for sure. He's elusive and super humble, but just a guy that we had to definitely track down and have some words with and talk to. So it's out of respect, and we've been looking to try and talk to you for a bit.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, Gene, maybe we can start. Tell us how you got into all of this.
Well, my beginnings. I'm originally from a little small town on the coast of North Carolina called Edenton. Grew up there. Went to college. During college, I was not a real good student, and I got drafted to go in the military, and so I opted to. I was going to go into the Coast Guard Officers Candidate School after I graduated. Well, when I got drafted, they didn't have any openings, so I went into the regular Coast Guard, and I spent 4 years in the military. That was from the years of 69 is when I was drafted, 73 to 73. Went back, had 1 year of college. I was on a bad dean's list when I got drafted, not the one that you're proud of. And I actually went back my last year of college and made the real dean's list for the last 12 months in marketing. Had a job opportunity. I went to work with a company called Rose's Stores Incorporated. They had 250 retail stores similar to a Walmart today.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, at that particular time, they had 250 stores and Walmart had 80, if that tells you anything at that particular time. But anyhow, I was in charge of managing a baby photography company. They had their own company. We were doing pictures in the stores, and my job was, and I didn't even know that it existed, but I'm in 1 week I might recruiting photographers and training photographers to photograph babies in department stores. Third week on the job, I got a call that I had a photographer that quit on the spot, left their camera equipment on the spot. I had to go to the store location. I got another photographer to come over to show me how to cut it on. It was a long roll camera-as camera, if you can imagine. And I photographed babies, the most humbling experience of my life. I'm sitting there throwing balls in the air, playing with toys, squeaky toys and everything. And I'm photographing, and I'm saying I went to college for 4 years. And I've got this job, and now I'm out here on the road making a complete fool of myself. But I got through that week. I got through that shoot. And I learned quickly that it's a tough job. It was good for me to have to go out there. And so I recruited, I hired, I put together a good team, had 15 photographers traveling all over the Southeast. And there was every week you have problems. Somebody's leaving or somebody's so I went through that, and then my relationship started with Coppinger Coal Lab at that time. That was where I was sending my work for fulfillment, and so grew a relationship there. They had started a program with family portraits called Majestic Marketing, and I got a franchise. I was working with roses stores, but I went ahead and opened up and had 8 photographers working for me, photographing families and church directories and fundraisers. Again, I've always been a hands-on person. I don't want to ask anybody to do anything I can't do. And so I went out on the road and I photographed families. I got some experiences of the locations that we went into. I went in churches in Washington, D.C., in an area that nobody goes in today. I mean, it was a seedy, rough area, and I'm there for 2 days photographing families, and made some great relationships. The people were nice, but when you went from the church to your car, you were running. You had to. I mean, it was scary. But anyhow, those experiences made me appreciate what my employees had to go through. And so I had to be very cautious. I created protocols that if they ever had a dangerous situation, how to handle it, what to do. Keep that 911 number available so you can get it quick. Don't worry about them busting the windows on your vehicle. We'll take care of that. But anyhow, that's some of the crazy things that we did in developing that. Later, we got into church directories, and I think the year it was about 7 years after I was working with Regal that I got the opportunity. Gary Coppinger, the owner of Coppinger Coal Lab and CPQ at that time, he asked me to come to work for him and manage and be director of photography for the Majestic operation. It was vertical. At the time I joined them, they had 150 photographers traveling all over the U.S. Now, I tell you, that is a war zone. You have 150 photographers that are traveling. They don't have a home, basically. They're living in hotel rooms, and the most bizarre, I mean, you have car accidents. I'm sadly to say, I had a couple of people that got killed in car accidents and working for me, and that is an awful, awful situation to live with. But at the same time, we grew a business. That business grew to we were doing like 50 million retail, and that's back in the early 90s. That was a big business. The lab was doing good at the same time. Coppinger Coal Lab was doing good at the same time, and I'd made a personal relationship with a few of the customers. Jim Craxner, which he's with a company called AFP, which was American Family Portraits. He owned a business out of Los Angeles, and he was photographing in families in the Zayre stores. Big operation, had about 35 photographers. Then Zayre's went bankrupt. And so he's out there alone, doesn't have anything going on. And he made a sales call to Walmart. Walmart let him come in, do a test. The test was successful. And from that, he grew to be our biggest customer. We were doing, just the finishing side of it was between $2.5 and $3 million a year.
Wow.
And that's back in years, that was by far the biggest customer we had.
Yeah.
He actually grew it to a point that he was going to start his own lab, which he was at the point in size he could. So he purchased the Coppinger Coal Lab piece of the company away from Coppinger's and operated it for 3 years. During that period of time, Walmart pushed him and us. We were more or less a partner we're more than just a marketing partner. We helped him with fixtures, whatever he needed, leasing equipment to keep it going. But they wanted him to put in studios, fixed location studios, and which he did. He put in 10 and then another 10, and then they wanted 20 and he put in 40. And the next 20 they put in, he was out of cash. And he was out of cash, and so was the lab. So were we out of cash because it was all one pot. And so at that point in time, he had to file for reorganization. And we were obviously involved in that. And I was fortunate enough to have a group called River Associates in Chattanooga, equity company, to come in and partner with me. And we purchased, at that point in time, we purchased Coppinger Collab and all of its assets. That was our trail to me having ownership and a lot of changes. That's when we developed the name Advanced Photographic Solutions. And interestingly enough, I sort of came up with that. I wanted something that started with A, because I wanted any kind of listing that came up. A's going to always be first. Yep. And so I took off from finding the first word, and that was advanced auto, advanced whatever, and then solutions was also a word of the times. Then our logo at that particular time was a film strip. It's a piece of film, which we were one of the first labs to scan film to digital files. I mean, we were way ahead of the curve there, and so that was our logo. We took off as a company. We were quickly challenged to convert to digital. They came out with digital cameras. We're sitting here we actually owned it. We were leasing out over 200 cameras at one time. The Camera S Classics. Wow. You can bronze those things, and it makes a nice piece of furniture. But that's all they're good for. Because I mean, it's in the same way with Luck printers. We had 18. We had 18
of them. Wow.
And to see them load up on a truck and leave the building to go to a scrap. I mean, we robbed off anything that was worth anything, but they were the scrap, threw them away, reorganized our lab, and that was our first purchase of getting involved with Noritsu on digital printers. I forget the model number, but we started out with 6 of them. And they gave me the specs on them, and the specs was like 450 or 500 prints an hour. And so I run the numbers. I knew what our volume was going to be, because our volume is really pretty predictable, and especially with that family, that AFP business, that was 12 months out of the year. If you can imagine a school company that has to shut their lab down in the summertime, hell, we were going wide open in the summertime.
Jeez, wow.
But we had to get our volume to where we could meet the peaks in the fall. And they gave me the specs. We buy 6, we bring them in. And I spent weeks back with a stopwatch and a pad, just recording times. And that, it was insulting. I mean, they would come in and says, it's your problem, it's not ours, because they don't do it. I said, okay, show me. And we finally worked with them. Most of it was, if you can imagine, in that period of time, trying to move digital files around quickly. It was, and we had, to my knowledge, in this area, we had the first terabyte server.
Wow.
And that was unheard of then. I mean, I think it cost me maybe $180,000. Today,
what year was that?
That's going to be 96, 97.
That's crazy. Wow.
Today you can get a terabyte for what, $200 or something.
$200, yeah.
But back then, I'm talking about 3 racks all plugged in, but I did have an experience, and I don't remember exactly what year it was. It was the week before Thanksgiving, and we used film scanners to scan the film. I think it was Hicks was the company that made the film scanners, and we used their scanners. We had 2 of them, and of course we had to load them up on the server. We had a crash on the server 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and this is after we've already printed the proofs. We've already sent the proofs out to the customers, and now they're really starting to hammer us with orders.
Yep.
And we sat there for 48 hours. This was my technical team. I quickly got a consultant out of Atlanta to come in, a couple of guys, to try to figure it out and save it. And we stayed for 48 hours straight here at the office. Because, I mean, I'm out of business.
Yeah.
I never let my customers, thank goodness it was over Thanksgiving. I never let my customers know about the problem because, number one, I didn't want to hear the feedback, but I didn't want to mess the Thanksgiving up. Yep. So we loaded up. Finally, I located a company out of Minneapolis. And we loaded the servers up. And I sent a person up with them. We loaded the servers. Before that, I get them on the phone. I have to give them my American Express and give them $25,000 up front. Doesn't sound a lot today. It's just a big bar tab in Vegas. But that back then, that was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. And so they took it up, and within 24 hours, it was ready.
Really?
I mean, they had solved my problems. I mean, that's the most relief I've ever had in my life, is to think that we were that close. But anyhow, that worked out. It taught me one thing: you never handle images that you don't have a backup situation. Yeah. And so we immediately invested a significant amount of money to make sure we could back up everything.
Yeah, just that peace of mind, right?
Oh yeah, we carried the images for our customers for 2 years, and we carry them online for a full year. So it was a learning process. We got through it. We survived it. The other pieces that on scanning film, we quickly realized that we had to code the film. That prior to that, we were having about 30 people dust spotting prints, and because there was speckles on the prints, and it wouldn't ship them. We couldn't ship them, so I invested in 2 3M film coders that we had. The minute the film came off the film processor, we put it on a coder, and it just wiped that whole department out. That just totally eliminated the need to spot the prints.
Yep.
It was an interesting time. When I look back at how much we've had to invest and reinvest and keep investing.
Yeah.
We went from those Ritsu machines to when their roll-to-roll machines came out. We already had the paper processing capacities here.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we didn't tear them out. We left them, and so we went to roll-to-rolls, and I was fortunate, very fortunate, to be located where we are. We've always had a good relationship with Life Touch, and the fact that we're friendly competitors. I mean, they've gotten chemicals from us when they are low down in Chattanooga. And we've done the same thing, and we've just always maintained a good rapport with them. When they got ready to shut the plant down, I was offered a opportunity to come in and look at their equipment and make a bid. And they had 35 roll-to-roll machines.
Jeez.
In this place in there. They had 2 of the big double-strand paper processors that nobody would even consider tearing down and installing at another location. Well, I bought both of those processors for $2,000.
Really?
And had my team go down and it took a few weeks, but we're using that processor today.
Still.
It's an excellent machine, and we've got a backup parts machine for parts. So we bought the equipment reasonable, and it gave us immediate capacity. I had a whole row of them. I think I put in 15 or 18 of the roller rolls, and then they had some other machines that were we bought everything they had. I mean, anything they wanted to sell, I bought, and the price was reasonable. And so that helped me. It probably saved me $2.5 million,
Yeah.
$3 million, and what it would cost me to buy new on all that stuff. And it was good stuff. And so that helped me to not have to go through the process again.
Wow.
Until we got introduced, Kobe got me introduced to HP and the press print. And so we bought a couple of those, and when I saw the amount of time and the capacity of those machines, I immediately recognized that during the summer months and the late spring months, we need to be doing church directories, and we need to be doing school yearbooks on those machines. So we developed from that a pretty nice little yearbook company. We've got a yearbook company that we're doing. I think we did something like 800 schools that we did this past year, and the quality is great. But what we do, I found a secret way back. The way to not have late orders is not have shelves. Simple process. If you eliminate shelves, that people can put stuff on,
it'll just sit there.
It will move out the door.
Yeah.
And so we have used that process, and we're able to deliver yearbooks within a week after we received the final product into us. We can ship in a week. The industry standard is probably about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks. And so our customers are happy, the quality is good, and we really look for that as a growth area for us. Also, during this process, I ended up buying a frame manufacturing company out of Missouri. Hopped a plane one day, got my management team. We went out and looked at the equipment, and I believe it was close to Sedalia, not Sedalia. Anyhow, I was in Missouri, and the guy that owned the equipment, he wanted out of it. He had contacts with the vendors in China and Korea, and so we loaded the equipment up, bring it back here, and I've set it up in a building. And since then, we've been producing frames here in Cleveland for the industry. We don't sell to anybody except to studios and the industry. And I've in attending trade shows, frame trade shows, I have also developed a relationship with a company out of China that we're buying frames and have been for like the last 12 years with a family that they couldn't speak English. And I'm in their booth, and I negotiated an agreement with them to buy their product. And believe it or not, for multiple years, it was on consignment. I started buying so much that they stopped that, because I bring in about 10 containers a year.
Wow.
But they were actually letting me have it on consignment. I told them I have no money. I have no money for inventory, but I like your product. So they would send it. When I sold it, I'd pay them. And we operated that way for 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was, because at any point in time, they had $500,000 worth of inventory sitting in my warehouse that they owned. So.
And they trusted you with it, which is great.
Oh, well, they actually came over and visited me twice, the whole family, and they can't speak English. And you're talking about a long, miserable day.
Yeah.
When you're having to go, his daughter could translate a little bit. And so everything that I'm saying has to go through her back to her dad. I can tell you a little funny story on that.
Yeah.
I took them up to my. I have a place up on the river, and then I had a second cabin beside me, and I let them spend the night. Went up for a boat ride, and when I had a pleasant evening on the river, and had dinner, and we had an outage, a storm outage, where the place that I had a generator. The place that they had next door did not have a generator. I didn't even think about it. They were scared to death. And the phones wouldn't work. They could not pick up using phones. So they told me that day, said, next time we stay in city.
They probably thought you were trying to kidnap them or something.
Oh man, that was hilarious. But anyhow, I don't know where we left off at, but that is the transition to digital has had many challenges. I can say the success of our company is because of the people that I have. I have got staff of people here that have been with me, a lot of them for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And they take challenges and bringing Kobe, which Kobe's my son.
Yeah.
Bringing him on board has helped me in accomplishing what I want to accomplish, because we have created so many relationships with customers. I mean, this whole business, I do not know a successful school company that the director, the management of that company is not relationship marketing oriented. Yeah. I mean, that's just, and we believe in it.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes to a fault, but I right over my shoulder, you'll see a gentleman right in the center. Is in that picture on the wall is Bill Miller out of Alabama.
Yeah.
And he's one of the mentor to me in the school business. He was our first entry really to be involved in the school picture business. Such a gentleman. He treated me like a son. God bless, he just passed about 4 or 5 years ago. They're still a customer. They're still the largest customer. And I think probably today they're probably the largest customer in the U.S. that's vertical, that doesn't have a lab. But wow. But anyhow, that he taught me, took me under his wing, and we developed the best at that time, the best proof program. An opportunity for school photographers to go out and produce a proof and send it back to the consumer to let them place their order off of that proof. That was unheard of in the early 90s. And we developed a way to do it. And over the years, we've modified it and changed it. But the main thing is the accuracy we could get. And we started, to my knowledge, we were the first company to start putting the names, other than Old Mills. Mills has always put their studio name on the edge of prints. We quickly generated a way that we could put the kid's name on the edge of school prints. And this is back in the early 2000s when nobody was doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was something that we had the data file. We had the image. We had to link the images, which has always irritated me. We had to do the work for the yearbook companies. We had to do all that anyhow. And so why not use it? And we use that same data file to put the names on it. And they would charge, and our customers were charging like $3 to have that as an added service, and we didn't charge anything.
Really?
No, it didn't cost us anything. We bring as long as they had the right name attached to that file.
Yeah.
It worked. So, but we've been involved on the front end of a lot of things, but the commitment to not make excuses and get orders out of the building on time, because we work 24/7.
Yeah.
For about 10 weeks in the fall. And I have employees that work 12 hours a day. And but they also are late. This summer, they're taking a vacation. And so I've just always educated them that you need to put a few bucks away, because I'm going to lay you off in June. And they love it. They like it. They can be home with their kids. And so we've had a workforce at one time we were over 500 employees in our lab. And that was back when we had all the people doing the spotting prints and all of that work. Through innovation, through changes that we've made, I haven't stayed real close to what Kobe's doing, except I have to find the money that he wants to spend. And he just spent about 1.2 million
really
on a packaging machine that the strawberry people, we have a strong relationship with a lot of they're not competitors, but we share information. And he saw that machine over there, and so it's Bell and Howell packaging machine that is going to help us. It's our goal to be able to ship school pictures to our customers in 3 days.
Wow!
And we'll be there from the time we get the orders in the building through the different software platforms.
Yeah,
that's sweet. I think he calls it Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, the Pac-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will. There's no doubt. I mean, our goal is to do it in 2 days.
Incredible.
We're going to tell them 3 days because that's more than enough. But because that gives us time, because of the cost of shipping stuff, you've got to allow 3-5 days to get it there. So we've got to make that time up in the lab to make it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Talking about shipping. This is something I bet you not. It'd be hard to relate to today. When I first got into business, we would take our film and put it on a bus, a Trailways bus. The photographers, whatever location they could get to that had a Trailway station. I had these forms pre-printed for them that had the address of the lab. They would put that on the box, and all the film went into the lab via Trailways bus. All the picture packages that they went back and sold also went on a Trailways bus. You talking about having to have your fingers crossed, hoping that, I mean, we'd have packages that get on a bus and then not take it off. It would be 200 miles. We're located 200 miles up the road, and tracking, they didn't have anything the tracking system was not invented.
No.
On any of that at that point in time. This was all having good agents at the bus stations to get them to check in their little cubby and see if it was there. But anyhow, that's just something I remember that was such a challenge. But it was the only way to make it work.
Yeah.
Today we're dealing with the FedEx and UPS, which in theory, this could be a little bit controversial, but I got to say it because it's been on my mind my whole life.
Yeah.
It is the most epic case of price fixing that I have ever seen. Is those two companies. They come in annually. They bring me their new price list changes, and you go down there and look at zone by zone, and it's the same. It's I don't know why it has never been addressed, but they go 5 to 6% up every year.
Yeah.
You compound 5 or 6% over 30 years, and that's what we've been faced with. I can remember way back in working with AFP and their locations that I negotiated a deal with FedEx for $5 a package. If it was 20 pounds or less, they would ship it anywhere in the U.S. for it. That was $5. Today it would average about 50.
Yeah.
They package would average about 50.
It's $5 just to make sure you get a signature now.
I know. It really is. I mean, we had about a 5-year. This is back when they were aggressive and they really wanted to grow their business, and it was a great relationship. But things change. I can understand everybody's got to have a price increase, but I can tell you, as a lab, our approach has always been to hold that. We've gone. Our prices have increased probably an average of 2% a year for the last 10 years. I mean, that's we try to hold it. Now, here recently, this tariff situation is concerning. We were always a very loyal Kodak lab, and all the way to the end, I just prayed that they could survive. I did everything. We did everything as a company because I knew the minute that Kodak was no longer available, I knew what was going to happen. Without competition, the prices are going to go up, and
of course,
we obviously can't stay on it. I mean, we actually are looking now and planning to make that change, which will be another $1.5 to $2 million that we're going to have to spend on equipment.
yeah.
But we're going to have to make that change. And all these roll-to-roll printers that I got from out of Chattanooga, and then they get loaded up on a truck and hauled off.
The next cycle, yeah.
By the way, if you know anybody that's interested in any of the Ritsu roll-to-rolls, I've got some for sale.
Hopefully some are watching.
Yeah.
But I can say this, that we are a company, and Kobe and I think see eye to eye on this. That we people say a lot of times that we're your partners. You know, your vendor is your partner. We've been successful by doing that, by making our relationship stronger. We know if our customers are healthy, they can pay the bills. We can pay our bills.
Yeah.
If they're not, and so that's why we fight as hard as we can to keep the price of the products we send out the door as inexpensive as possible. Kobe's done a great job. And interrupt me at any point in time that you think I'm heading in the wrong direction, because I know.
No, this is good. Just keep going.
No, Kobe and I have discussed this over a period of time, and the ability for us to know what our customers want from us. We have a customer meeting twice a year.
Yeah.
That we bring our customers in, and then we have also a deal advisory board that we select a group of people that are leaders, customers that are ours that are leaders, and we bring them together for a day and a half, twice a year, to tell us what we need to do for them. Mm-hmm. We sit back, Kobe does a great job at orchestrating this meeting, opening it up for discussion, and from that, these guys are best of friends. All of these people that come in for this meeting now, they get on the phone, they share information between the meetings. When they come to the meetings, we ask of them to be prepared, to offer solutions. We sort of tell them what we think the challenges are. But the real effect of that is when we leave that meeting, they have told us what to do for the next season, what we need to be concerned about. And we have that has just been so healthy for us as a company to know, to not have to sit back in front of a screen and do budgets and everything on something that's not going to get there. These guys tell us what they're going to do and tell us what we need to help them with. So that is something that we will perpetuate, and we bring in professional people to speak to them about different challenges they might have. But what we find out, and I say this at every meeting when I'm talking to them, I guarantee every one of you, when you leave this meeting, will have something that you have learned. But more importantly, you will talk to somebody that has the same problem that you have, and they have a solution. That's the difference, because I just see so much of that I think that's it. And then SPAC does the same thing. You guys, that's always been the case. I've always been an advocate of all trade shows. I mean, starting back, I used to do the PMA every year. And then of course it went out of business. And then I forget the name of the other one, the
PSPA.
What was the other organization that we had back in its
PSPA?
day? What's that?
PSPA.
PSPA, yes. We were strong supporters of that group.
Yep.
And it's I just wish nothing but the best for the. I think every new company, but as well as every mature company, get something out of going to these trade shows and creating relationships and talking to people year round about your problems, because there's nothing like that it can't be solved.
Yeah.
And so we're a strong advocate of that. Where I see the business leading today, and where we started discussing this, I guess 5 years ago, and I made a statement then, and nobody really bought into it, that we would be shipping pictures to homes for all the customers within 5 years. I mean, and that was back when we were doing maybe 10% of their business. I think there's an evolution because of the cost. We don't know yet what the postal system is going to end up doing.
Yeah.
And if it goes much further, you're going to see a turn, and the next move is going to be how to best ship the pictures back to the school. The economies are just not going to work. How to best let mom sit at home at night on the phone and place the orders, and then pick them up at the school.
Yeah.
Because we're looking today at a $1.80 to $2.50 cost per that we can absorb. That's going to go to $4 pretty soon.
Yeah. And you got that bulk shipment to the school. I mean, yeah, the kid's got to bring it home, but the costs of savings on that you could pass back to the customer, or just like hold pricing based on that, right?
I think you could do it and not even adjust your pricing, your retail pricing.
Yeah.
And doing that. But here's the thing that has to be done. And that's what we're working on. How best can I have it when that school administrator or that teacher opens that box and everything is easy for them? And we're shrink wrapping everything now by class. And we probably need to now go to some kind of cover sheet that has a list of all the kids in that bundle. We don't do that.
Yeah, like a little pick list.
There's some things we're going to need to do, but I think it's not going to happen next year. But I think the cost of shipping is going to drive it back in that direction. And you don't need to be doing both. When it goes in that direction, you need a total commitment that you're going to ship everything back to the school, or come up with a service that is like a overnight $20 charge to the parents if they want to pay $20. Yeah. You could offer that as a solution, but the $3 to $5 shipping fee, it's not going to cover the expense.
No, like you said too, that is just going to keep going up. There's no way they're going to come back to you and say, "Hey, by the way, we're going to reduce our shipping costs." So at some time the runway is going to run out.
Well, and people don't realize that we try to keep that cost we try not to get any margins off of that as a lab.
Yeah.
But when you continue to do too much stuff at cost, then you look around at your bottom line and say, what the hell's going on? And your labor goes up. You got to have more people to do this. So I think that it sort of got me. I'm hoping this $1.2 million we spent on this auto packaging machine, it has an option that we can bulk ship.
Yeah.
And so it'll still be the speed process. We'll still get the benefit of it.
Yeah.
But in the accuracy, I tell you what, that is another thing. If you want to make, I've always said this, that when you have a school that has a little problem during the year, whatever, photographer, whatever the problem, if you finish the year strong and end up taking care of delivery of all the pictures, you're okay. You'll come out. And so we find that spending money to improve the accuracy of what we ship out is all important. And this packaging machine does that. In our test on it, it's going to be 98%, 99% accurate. It's going to be, if we get good data, it's going to go out accurate into the right address.
Have you guys brought that machine in, or it's coming, or when do you guys plan to start using it?
The sad thing is, it's been here for almost a year, getting it installed and everything. And that's when the payment started on it, was a year ago. and we're not going to get real benefit until this fall. But we used it this past spring, testing it and everything. This fall is when we're going to see the real benefit. But
there we go.
It's up and running. It's up
exciting.
And running. It is. It's exciting when we can improve on our accuracy, which we know is going to do that, and we can get throughput speeds that I don't think anybody's doing out there. I don't think anybody's doing 2 day. And this is what I was having to do it. I mean, I learned a long time ago about a term called critical path. And when somebody tells me that something has to go out in 2 days, then we can't get it out in 2 days, I can show them how I can get it out in 2 hours.
Incredible.
The critical path, 2 hours. Everything else that gets in the way, the critical path is our problem. But there's not a product we produce today that I can't get out in 2 hours if I stand right there with the order and walk it through the process. So in doing that, it makes 2 days seem simple. And we did the same thing with yearbooks. We don't have shelves. When we get yearbooks off the press, they go in a box, they go out the door. So,
like you said, no excuses.
No excuses. No excuses.
Yeah. Love
it. And good people. Good people. That's
good people.
That's
I was gonna say, going back to like the beginning of your story when you said like you went to school, then you worked at like that grocery store that was like equivalent to Walmart. I thought you were gonna say your first job was like being the bagger, and then you moved all the way up from there, and then it totally changed from that. I was like, oh, here we go. This guy bagging at a grocery store to now.
Interesting enough, when I was in high school, I did bag some groceries, and
then it was true. There you go.
They don't offer that service anymore, but I pushed them right to the lady's car.
I thought you were going to talk about how like the baby photos and squeezing baby toys. It was like working with Kobe.
Sometimes to get his attention, they'll do these. No, it's been. I've had some interesting job experiences when I was in college.
Yeah.
When I was in college I was in a fraternity, and but I still had to get a job. So I worked every Saturday selling ladies' shoes.
Al Bundy.
Hey, listen, high-end, expensive ladies' shoes, and I made good money. I was making like 150. This was back in '68.
Oh, no way.
I was making like $150 on a Saturday selling shoes. So it shows you that I'm humble enough to take any job and try to make it happen.
It all makes sense. Yeah, like we were saying, just a humble stealth bomber in the industry with what a good story.
Yeah. It's been a good ride. I'm happy. Kobe's doing a good job on taking it forward.
Yeah.
Same philosophy, I stay involved with the deal advisor board meetings because of relationships with the customers and listening. Yep. But no, we've got a good team and we got a good plan.
And you're always on the trade show floor. Like you said, the relationship with the customers, like you're still out there, right?
Well, I feel like if I stop, I'll stop. I mean, that's maybe not make sense to you, but I don't want to sit down. I don't want to stop seeing that. And I'm very inquisitive. I mean, I walk the shows today even, and I'll have my little bag and I'll get literature and I'll bring it back in here and I'll read it and look through it and seeing if there's a nugget in there that makes sense. And they sadly, some of the trade shows have deteriorated, I think, to a point that there's not a lot out there.
Yeah.
But I still I still try to stay close to it, and I try to tell Kobe to do the same thing. He needs it. He needs to walk every aisle of the trade shows to make certain that we know what's going on.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. We understand.
You talked about Majestic. I mean, TJ and I have heard that name. I mean, John, our dad, brings it up all the time. He always talked about like Majestic, Siegel Majestic. From there, then I think there was like Majestic tripods. Is right? Like, yeah, I feel we still use those actually because he loves them. They're like a tank. That name I feel we've heard forever. Whatever happened to them?
Well, I'll tell you a secret about those Majestic tripods, and you may already know it. You know the ones that are loaded like a cannon?
Yeah. Oh, we know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I used to do the car that I had, my company car. One of them went off in the trunk and hit the side of it and dented it. That thing would knock you out.
Yeah.
I don't think that the tripod company's gone. I think the company that makes the heads, I think that was the Majestic piece of it. And I think Davis and Sanford made
Davis and Sanford,
the base of it. But I don't think that there's a real need for that heavier.
Yeah, well, talk to our dad about that. He still buys them on eBay when guys are dropping them, and then photographers are complaining how heavy those things are. But he's just like, yeah, but they'll never fall over. So
I saved a bunch of 35 millimeter film cameras that I had, and I think Kobe finally found a way to donate them to somebody. But we actually seen having requests of people that want us to process film and produce prints off of. Which I don't want to get. I don't see that as a business I want to be involved in, but they are requests. I had it. The company had a Hasselblad camera when I first got in the business, and I saw it sitting over there for about 2 months, and then I picked it up and I learned how to operate it, and I got pretty proficient as a photographer. I did some weddings. I ended up doing. The executives of the company, when they had a daughter or son get married, I ended up doing all the wedding photography for them, and that was another humbling experience that I learned from that pictures tell a story. That's in school pictures is the same way. If you go back and put your all of your school pictures and a lot of companies, and we are too, working for ways to archive images so that we can maybe produce a product in 5 years that's got all your last 5 years of your kids' pictures on one print or whatever. But in wedding photography today, when somebody gets wedding images, they pretty much leave them on CD and never produce print.
Mm-hmm. Never print them at all. Maybe send out a few of them and that's it.
And that business is just poof, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it's still there's an opportunity there for somebody to come in and I believe, but it's sure too late in my lifetime to be involved in it.
Doesn't sound like it. Sound like you're still pretty involved, buddy.
Yeah, sounds like you need a new challenge, something to do. Yeah, I think you'd either do that or you'd start your own shipping company to take on FedEx or UPS. Well,
I have done that. I have started my own company since I left Kobe because what happened is I found out about after 6 months of letting Kobe take the helm that if somebody didn't like what he told them, one answer they'd come to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I just said I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna be out of the building. I'm gonna do something else. I'm not gonna, because I was coming in the office every day, and so I left the building, and I got that was the first mistake I ever made because I got involved. I saw this opportunity of I opened a business that is buying pallets of lost in mail shipments. This is something that you may want to take off this interview, but I got to tell you about it anyhow.
Please do.
I I saw a gentleman that had a couple of pallets, and it was loaded with stuff. It had golf clubs, and it had all kinds of a dozen Titleist golf balls. I asked him about it, and it's a deal out of Atlanta every week. They have an auction. They sell 600 lots. All of this stuff is lost in the U.S. mail.
Yeah.
And so I started buying about 3 or 4 pallets every other week. And I get a crew, and I'm putting it on Facebook. Got me a warehouse. I used the company's warehouse space, the aisles and stuff to store the stuff in. And I've got me 3 geeks to come in and list it on Facebook and eBay, and I got a business going. Well, now I'm bringing a tractor trailer load every other week, and so it's become a full-time job for me. But it's
no wonder we had such a hard time getting a hold of you. You were picking.
Hey, I'm telling you what, you would be shocked at how much stuff is lost and what you find in there. I found a small packet that had 22 silver dollar ounces of silver.
Yeah, crazy.
I paid $200 for the packet.
Incredible. I think we were, I don't know what trade show we were at, but they were touring somewhere, and they saw, like, from Predators and Aliens, like an alien. They're like, I'm pretty sure Gene has an alien.
No, I said I had the arm.
Yes, the arm.
They were sending out a replacement arm. It got lost, and I ended up. And I'm saying dead serious.
There's a statue out there with one arm missing, and we know the guy who has it.
You would not believe that the items. I mean, I got a $40,000 server, new,
random,
in the box, new in the box.
Wow.
And yeah, it's exciting. It's
treasure.
Yeah.
But I need it. I need to pass it on. I'm trying to get a partner to get me out of it. I don't want the cheese anymore. I want out of the trap.
maybe someone's watching that could fill in that as well on top of buying the stuff. Gene, we know you don't come in a lot, and we totally appreciate you spending some time with us. I know we're kind of creeping into an hour here with you, but yeah, I could listen to you for another couple hours, to be honest with you.
No kidding. Yeah.
No, I thought we went 30 minutes, so I'm glad you're telling me we finished.
No. What a wealth of information, and like we said, finally a time to hear more from everyone. Mike, got any more questions for him? Or?
No, I was just like, wow, like there's so much that we didn't know, and yeah, he just kept going. Like I was like, holy, this is an awesome history of the business, and you think about like the evolution, right? And the more that we kind of hear from you is just like, you're always like striving to like, how can we do it better? How can we get it out quicker? And like, I love the example of no shelves, right? If there's no shelves, you can't put it anywhere. You got to get it out the door. So
it works.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I thank you. It was fun talking to you. And if you share a drink with me at a trade show sometime, I've probably got a few more stories I can tell you.
We're into it.
We'll definitely continue part 2 offline over some drinks with you next time we see you, for sure.
That's great.
Thanks so much.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
You're a legend. Okay, take care.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.